morning, everybody. It is now day 2 on Pag Island, and we are now headed to the Olive Gardens of Lun. It's another very special spot here in Pag. There are about 15,000 wild olive trees on 24 hectares of land in the Olive Gardens, and the average age of the trees is about 1,200 years old. So some really old, beautiful olive trees that we are just excited to go explore around the gardens and see what that's all about. So our first stop, the Olive Gardens of Lun. Also, just a note, when we were talking with Ružica yesterday at the Sirana, she was saying that the island has had so much rain over the past month that everything is so much greener than it usually is. Usually there's just not so much green, and this year there's a lot more green than normal. So this may not be what Pag typically looks like. I think it's typically a lot drier and not a lot of vegetation. This year is a little bit special because there was so much rain, I guess. So it's much greener than usual.
So that she reminds her Pag this year on Ireland.
Oh yeah.
When she's driving.
Also, just to note that where the Olive Gardens of Lun is located is right at the top of the island. So we're really driving straight up north, almost to the peak up here. And it looks a lot more wild here, doesn't it?
Yeah,
in this area. Yeah.
More,
Yeah.
like less
Natural.
less populated.
Yeah.
The problem with the olive tree is that one.
Uh-huh.
Usually you have a hole in the middle of the trunk.
Ah.
So if you cut that down, you don't get all the rings, but just a portion. So we cannot give a precise age of a tree. But we can estimate. What do we do? First, we do not cut the tree. We just drill holes and extract samples. Of those samples, you can measure the length, you can count the rings that you have, you repeat for several trees, and then you get an average number.
Oh.
With that, you estimate the age of a tree. If this is a meter wide, and the average growth for these trees in this area is approximately 1 millimeter per year. How old is that?
It's 1 millimeter, so it's 1,000 years?
No. First, when you count the rings, you usually start from the center and go to the side.
Okay.
So you don't need the full diameter, but just the radius.
So
First, you cut in half.
Uh-huh.
So
500 then?
still no.
Oh, okay.
And no, and
Trick questions.
no, yes, no, and that's the point. Since we cannot tell precisely the age, but we have to estimate the age. 500 is a precise number. It's better to be, let's say, open.
Yeah, of
If
course.
you say approximately.
Approximately,
No,
of
and that's the
course.
point. That number is an estimate.
Yeah.
Every plant is different. The environment is not the same everywhere. So
Sure.
some may grow faster, some may grow slower. This one could be 400, could be 600, but 500
Approximately,
as
yeah.
a range gives an idea of the age.
Yeah.
Here on the spot,
Uh-huh.
we have in our range probably 6-7 trees that are above 1,000 years old.
Ah.
And that's our peculiarity. We don't have one single tree and that's it. It's not like Brioni, it's not like Castel, and it's not like in a lot of different places. This is a whole area with these kind of trees. Altogether, we estimate that we have something probably 1,000 trees that are older than 1,000 years.
Wow. I think we've reached it, guys. Najšire stablo masline. Oko, otprilike 2000 godine.
Wow.
Otprilike.
We said at the beginning that we had the hole in the middle of the trunk, correct? This one does not grow, let's say, on a circular base. It grows in two directions. So when you have a missing part, usually it breaks in the middle and you have two trunks growing apart.
So cool.
So it's the same plant. To be sure that it's one plant and not just two trunks growing really close one to another, we also made a DNA test. So we are safe about it. It is the only one single plant.
We've learned a lot about the olive trees with our walk through the grove here, or the gardens, I should say. We saw the oldest, well, sorry, not the oldest, the widest tree, which may not mean that it's the oldest, but it's one of the oldest because it's quite wide, and they approximate it to be about 2,000 years old, the one that we were just at now. It's been like a really interesting day full of learning and a cool experience to come here and just be so close to so many of these very, 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 very old trees. He was saying that usually you might go somewhere and find one olive tree that's super old, but that'll be it. Here there is like the largest amount, like concentrated area of these massively old olive trees. So it was a cool walk through and just being able to be surrounded by these natural beauties.
Natural treasure of Croatia.
Yes. How are you feeling, Sophie? Oh, A-okay.
Okay, the head shows how she feels.
Yeah.
This is the olive fly, and this is a female since it has the stings that she uses to put the eggs in the fruit.
I have an interesting question. Did the egg come first or the chicken come first?
The egg comes first because the species that grew before the chickens, they also use eggs for reproduce.
The kids have 1,000 questions, and he's been very, very, very patient with their millions of questions on everything. Okay, so we are back in the car now, driving to our next location to go on a little hike. One of the most unique and beautiful hikes, I think. One of them in Croatia, one of the most beautiful and unique hikes in all of Croatia. And we are driving to the starting point of that hike right now. It shouldn't take us too long. We think between half an hour and an hour, probably closer to an hour. It's a very short hike the way we're doing it. You can do a longer version, but with our kids, we're doing the shorter version. It's hot, it's the middle of the day. And then we're hoping to be able to swim when we reach the beach that's kind of our destination for the hike. So on our way there now, we'll see you at the start of the hike. So this kind of rocky terrain that you're seeing now is more of what Pag is typically like, I guess, more of this rocky and not as much greenery. So here is more typical Pag.
Part of Pag is close to Velebit Mountain, and it's very windy here. So that's the reason why there is no trees and any vegetation.
Cool.
So.
Guys, look at this road. I hope nobody else comes here. Don't panic. You're fine. Alright, my little hikers, let's go. Everyone has hats? Check. We picked up some hats yesterday so that everyone's protected as we walk, because this is a very sunny walk with no shade. So it's important that you bring a hat, some sunglasses as you do this little path. So this is the starting point to the hike that we're doing, but this whole section is part of a longer walk called Walk on Mars, and it takes you more around to different beaches. We're doing just a portion, but you can make it a longer route, a longer hike around.
The Life on Mars Trail.
Oh.
Guys, be careful. Here's really rocky.
Yeah. Watch your step, watch your step. Lizards, you're gonna find lots of lizards, I think, guys. So here we go, Life on Mars Trail. Tama, you guys careful, slowly, watch your step. Good job. Oh, it's so beautiful, guys, isn't it? Look at this clear view, beautiful, blue, beautiful sea.
In Canada, just like you cannot see anything through the lake.
The lakes are a bit murkier. This is very crystal clear, isn't it?
Yeah, you can really see like what's on the road.
Holy moly, look how pretty this is.
It's like
Kako je Fifi? Da idemo kako je Fifi, da idemo, raspoloženje.
How are you?
Check, how is she?
Oh!
She's good, she's good.
Look at these
Yeah, statues.
little statues of stone.
Mommy, let's give mine.
Cute. Very nice.
Okay, I'll give mine.
Okay.
I mean, I slipped out the shell, but
Nice. Good job, Sophie.
Mia, we did.
Perfect, you did it. Nice. So you can see this is why they call it the Life on Mars Trail. It's just so rocky all around. Beautiful, really unique terrain on this island. And we're excited to get to a beach, cool off, have a little dip, have a little break before going on. What do you think? Does this look like Mars to you?
Yeah, I do.
It does?
Yeah.
My little trooper. You my trooper?
Yeah.
Let's go, baby. Bravo. At least we have some shade now. Yep. So beautiful, guys. Oh my gosh. Wow, wow, wow. This is so beautiful, you guys. Woo, we made it to this beach and it is time for a well-deserved swim, refresh, and just enjoy the sea for the first time this year, guys. Our first dip in the sea this year. First time in the water this year. It's very chilly. Hasn't warmed up at all yet from the summer. Obviously it's spring now, but the water's so clear. Very chilly, but so clear, so beautiful, and so refreshing right now. It's really exactly what we needed. Huh?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Woo!
I can bend myself to my knees.
Oh my gosh. Oh. It is chilly, but feels good.
Oh, Mommy's going to swim. Woohoo!
Mommy!
Good job, honey. That's like really cold water. 18 degrees, huh?
So refreshing.
You know what?
It's 12th of May. And Mommy's swimming.
Just finished at the beach. It was pretty crowded, but we managed to find some room. We're like the only ones here. It was amazing. We spent some time here cooling off, having fun in the water, and just having some snacks on the beach. And we were gonna hike up to one more beach, but we decided that this is probably enough for us today. So we are going back to the same way we came, back to the car, and that will be it for our hike today. After we get back in the car, we're gonna go try to look for a restaurant that has some delicious ashkayanyatina. So we'll see if we can find that. Even is really excited to find some
My belly is excited.
some
about
little
it.
lamb. We'll see.
Can we find fresh one
Yeah.
from Rajan?
So off we go. Just careful. Slowly, slowly. It's like to me the trail goes that way where Lily's going. Yeah. Oh, it's cool now that we saw a bunch of these sheep now just kind of along the side of the road. There's so many. Look at them over here too.
It's resting in the shade.
It's so cool to see them just, you know, grazing around here after we tried the cheese in the factory yesterday. So they're so cute. Oli wants to take one home, but unfortunately we don't have room for a sheep in our car. So
I can carry it.
So that's it for Pag Island. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.